Hi, my name is V and I'm 27 years old, and for the last 2.5 years I've been doing freelance work as a content creator. Today I wanted to show you a very realistic look at what I earned over the last 2 financial years. If you want to jump straight into the juicy stuff, I'll put a timestamp below so you can go straight to the spreadsheet. I actually started my career as a finance girly before transitioning over to a corporate tech job, and last year I finally took the leap to becoming a full-time content creator. Long story short, I'm actually back in a 9-to-5 now, but I'm working as a content lead for a financial education startup, which combines my 2 passions, finance and marketing. When you first hear the word content creation, a lot of people might think that it has to involve filming in front of a camera like this, but that's actually not the case. And as a content creator, I earned money through 4 different avenues. The first method was being a UGC creator. UGC stands for user generated content, and this is where you create a video for a brand to post on their own account, not on yours. Brands want everyday people to film themselves using their product or service to look more legit. So if you're on TikTok or Instagram and you see those girlies talking about having the influencer lifestyle, like receiving PR packages without needing to be an influencer, it's a UGC creator. The second way I earned money as a creator is by being a part-time creator for a brand. It's kind of similar to being a UGC creator, except you're working long-term with a brand and you're delivering content on a more regular basis. So for example, you might make videos for them every week or every month. I personally really enjoy this work a lot more than UGC content creation because I get to see the brand's growth and also contribute to the content strategy. Versus with UGC, where sometimes you're just creating a video based on a brief provided to you by the brand. The third way I made money as a content creator was being an assistant on set for a big brand's TikTok shoot. Even though TikTok and short form videos feel like a really crowded space, it's actually not, because if you think about all the big retail brands that you shop at, a lot of them still aren't on TikTok yet. But there were some brands that were really early on the TikTok train, and I think it's benefited them so much. So one really big retail brand in Australia was making TikTok videos all throughout COVID, and they had so many viral videos. They started doing monthly TikTok shoots to showcase all their new product launches and product promotions. As an assistant, I got familiar with the run sheet and all the creatives on there, and if there weren't enough video inspirations for something that we wanted to shoot, I would go and look for more content inspo, or we would ideate together what we could film. Then in between all the little tasks that I got asked to do throughout the day, I would be airdropped a lot of the video clips and I would edit the videos on my phone. By the end of the day, we had at least half of our footage edited and ready to go. It was honestly such a hectic and fast-paced role, but I really enjoyed it, and I think I learned so much, especially being able to work with such a large brand and seeing how marketing is done on that scale. And the fourth way I made money as a content creator was by being a content strategist, videographer, and video editor for someone else. I'm going to neatly package this as social media manager, but honestly that's not the right term for it because I didn't really manage their socials, more so I've created content for them to post on their social media. I really enjoy this role because instead of being on camera myself, I got to help another business owner level up their content and their social media. I'm still working with 2 clients at the moment, and this is what I do for one of my clients. Enough yapping from me, let's get into the numbers. I can't wait to show you my spreadsheet. So these are all real numbers with real deliverables, except I've taken out the brand name. So for the month of July, I made $6,000 working as a part-time creator, UGC creator, and brand shoot assistant. If you don't know what those are, go to the start of the video because I do have an explanation for each of those things. August was a much quieter month, earning only $2,800. In September, I made $1,770. In October, $2,240. This is where it starts to get spicy, and I start to do a lot more brand shoot assistance, and that includes post-production, which is editing all the videos as well. I had an hourly rate for my on-set time, and then I charge per video for the post-production. In December, I made about $6,000. There's quite a good mix here. I was making UGC videos, I was working as a part-time creator, brand shoot assistant. On top of all this, I was also working my corporate job, but I was working in tech and most of it was work from home. December is also a very busy month for content creation because a lot of brands are promoting stuff for Christmas period. Rolling over to January, I had my biggest month of this financial year, and that's where I earned $9,487. In February, I made $8,182. In March, I earned $7,050. This is where I started thinking more about working in content creation full time. And actually, I forgot to mention that from November or December-ish, I quit, and then my manager was like, hold up, are you sure you want to do that? Why don't you try working part-time for a little bit? Honestly, that was such a great decision, and I'm so grateful for my manager at the time being so freaking supportive of me. If you work in the corporate space, you know that having a supportive manager can literally make or break your career. But anyway, I was working part-time from about November onwards, and then in April, I officially took the leap and went full-time content creation. And so in my first month of full-time content creation, I made $7,200. The month after, in May, I made $9,300, which was my second biggest month. And a lot of this month was clearly doing brand shoots, editing videos for them as well. So for the financial year of 23 to 24, I earned a total of $74,765 in gross income. This is pre-tax dollars. As someone who's self-employed, you need to take care of your own tax. I've used an approximate rate of 30%. I was putting aside this money in my savings account, so when it was time to do my taxes, I had funds available and I wasn't scrambling to get that money. But 30% is a very rough rate. And if you're self-employed, honestly, you should just find an accountant to help you do this stuff, because it's not fun to handle taxes on your own. Something else I thought would be interesting to look at was what type of content creation work I did, and then how much I earned from doing that particular role. So as a part-time creator, I earned $35,670. That was my biggest stream of revenue in content creation. My second biggest stream for this financial year was being a brand shoot assistant, and then my next one was being a UGC creator, and lastly, social media management, which I only picked up later on in the year. And now let's move on to the next financial year. So this spreadsheet looks a lot smaller because I started to do a lot more long-term work and a lot less UGC content creation. July 2024 to June 2025. Starting off in July and August, it was honestly a quiet month. And at this point, I was a little bit worried about my self-employment, but I just had to trust the process. And there were definitely things I could have done to gain more work. For example, reaching out to brands, posting more of my own content. But I think I took it pretty chill, did some traveling. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to get the money. In September, I secured a brand new deal working with a really big brand as their part-time content creator. So in September, I earned $7,850. The next month, my biggest earning for this financial year is $9,705, and I was doing work as a part-time content creator, social media manager, and doing a bit of brand shoot assistance on the side. In November, I had a pretty healthy month again, earning $8,110, and in December, I earned $8,060. As I mentioned before, in November and December, it's typically quite a busy month for content creation because we have the Christmas period. But then from January, it took a little bit of a dip. So I earned $6,610. And this is where things took a turn because the big brand that I was talking about before, we were doing a trial for 4 months and they were going through this massive merge in their business. So they were like, V, we really love working with you, but we need to take some time to figure out our budget before we can sign you on for real. I was like, okay, cool. And we were due to continue working together from February onwards, but I couldn't really wait around for them. I had bills to pay. I actually took up a part-time office job working as a social media coordinator for a skincare brand. This is not recorded on here because I didn't consider it freelance work. I was in the office 2 days a week and I was a PAYG employee. From February onwards, started to think more about my work as a content creator, the type of brands that I work with, what type of work energizes me and the type of work that drains me. I think at this point too, I wasn't really enjoying content creation as much anymore and I was craving a role that felt a bit more fulfilling. So in February and March, I decided to take a step back from my content creation business. And actually towards the end of March, I came across a LinkedIn job ad for the role that I have now, which is a content lead for a financial education startup. I went through the interview process. Everything was super seamless, super fast. And honestly, within 1.5 weeks, I had the role. I went back to full-time work. which is so crazy because when I first went self-employed, I was like, I'm never working in an office again. But here I am. This is the work that I'm doing now, just on the side. And these boxes are not ticked off yet. I still need to send off the invoice and get paid for this work. But all in all, for the 2024 to 2025 financial year, my total earnings were $60,265. The breakdown for this was, as a part-time content creator, I earned $39,240. As a social media manager, I earned $16,500. As a brand shoot assistant, I earned $3,925. And as a UGC creator, I earned $600. Very different breakdown to the last financial year. This is a super realistic look at what you could earn as a content creator. I'm sure you could earn a lot more, to be honest, if you did more work than me, but I hope this was helpful because I would have loved to see something like this from another creator when I was making the decision to take the leap. Honestly, being a content creator has a very low barrier to entry. My equipment was this. I have an iPhone 13 Pro, tripod, which I got off Amazon, and also a good quality microphone. I only got this about halfway through my content creation journey, and you can definitely just buy a cheaper one off Amazon, but this one is the DJI mic. I also have 3 subscriptions. One is my CapCut Pro subscription, which is the editing software I use for all my videos. 2 is Apple storage, 3 is Google Drive storage. Let me know if you're a content creator yourself, if you want to become one, or if you were just here to have a little sneak peek into my income. But if you have any questions at all about the content creation industry in Australia, drop them in the comments and maybe I'll make another video answering them. Thank you for watching and subscribe to stay in touch. Bye!